In this video, we're going over the calculator active explanations for the practice EOG for problems 36 through 40. Okay, so for problem 36, it says the systems of equations shown below. What is the x value to the solution of the system? So when they say solution, they're talking about the what? Intersection. Okay, so if you are in my Math 1 class, you should have solved this using algebra, not graphing. But if you chose the graph, that's fine. I'm going to show you how to answer this problem by graphing in just a second. For my Math 8 kids, you might prefer the algebra option or you might prefer the graphing. So again, I'm going to demonstrate the algebra way, and then I'll show you how to solve this problem using the graphing method. My key is I want to know where the x value is where they cross. Okay, so these two lines are going to cross. I want to know what's the x value of where they cross. So using the systems of equation algebra way, because I have a variable by itself right here, I'm going to use substitution, which means I'm going to plug all of this in for y. So I have 2x plus 4 times 1/2 x minus 3 equals 0. Distribute 2x plus 4.5 with half of 4, 2x. 4 times 3 is 12. Combine like terms, 4x minus 12 equals 0. Add 12. 4x equals 12, and I divide by 4, got ahead of myself. And x equals 3. That means that these two lines are going to cross when x is 3. So that's the algebra way of doing it using substitution. But now I'm going to show you how to do it if you were graphing it. Okay, so if you don't like algebra, this would be the best way for you to do it. The two equations are y equals 1/2 x minus 3. I know that this is my m or my slope, and this is my y-intercept or my b. Okay, so if I graph that line, it starts at -3, which is always on the y-axis, and my slope is positive 1/2. So I'm going to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. I'm going to continue this line. Okay? Not going to be as straight as it could be, but it's there. Y equals 1/2 x minus 3. Problem is that second line is not in slope-intercept form. Okay, so I need to rewrite it so that it is. I need to get y by itself. The x is positive, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. That gives me 4y equals negative 2x plus 0. Divide by 4, which means I have to divide everything by 4. That's going to give me negative 1/2 x plus 0. Graph this with red, so I start at 0, and I have a slope of negative 1/2, so down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Oh. Yeah, okay, good. Sorry, whoop, there we go. Oh, I messed up. Oh, I didn't. Okay. So when it says where do they intersect, it's going to be right here. What's the x value? 3. So the x value is 3 at this point, and I would say if this is -1 next to the y coordinate, so you're going to have 3 would be the first. The y coordinate is going to be a fraction because it's not going through a point. So maybe negative 1.7 or something. Again, that part doesn't matter because they're only asking you for the x, which is 3, which is right here. Alright, for question 37, it says, which table is a function? The only way you can get this question right, well, there's two options. Your first option would be, is what I'm about to do, but your second option would be is if you graph all of these points on a table and then connect them. If the function, when you graph it, does not pass the vertical line test, so for example, if this was my graph, if I draw a line and it crosses if I draw a vertical line and it crosses more than once, it is not a function. So the very long, tedious way to do this problem would be to graph all these points and see if it passes, graph all these points, test it, test, etc. So it's a really long way to do it, okay? So I would suggest, it's going to waste a lot of your test time. The best way is to remember that if it's a function, what does that mean? Your x's can't repeat, okay, the different y values. Why? Because if I have, let's say for example, this problem right here, I've got -1, 3, -1, 4. From over at -1, I go up to 3, and then I have -1, 5. When I connect it, I'm going to have a what? A vertical line. So x's cannot repeat with different y values. Now x is repeated with different y values, not a function. 2, 5, 2, 3, repeat, so not a function. 5, 2, and 5, 4, repeat, not a function. The only graph that doesn't repeat my x's is C. That is the correct answer. Okay, for question 38, it says, which function has a greater rate of change than the function that passes through the points given in the table below? And you have a table there and lots of answer choices. So it says, which function of the answer choices has a what? Greater rate of change. When it says that, they're saying which one has a greater what? Slope. Which one has a greater slope? Well, first I gotta find the slope of the table. So if you notice, all of this side's going up by 2, and this side is going up by 1. So change in y over change in x, my slope is 1/2. So I need to find an answer choice that has a slope that's bigger than 1/2. This is my slope. Slope. Ooh, not these two. Slope is always next to x when you have y equals. Well, 1/2, that's the what? That's the same as what I have. That doesn't work. It's not greater than. Hopefully you know that 1/4, a fourth of a pizza is smaller than what? A half of a pizza. Okay, so this one does not work because it's less than. Now I've ruled out 2 answer choices. The problem with A and B is that they are both not in y-intercept form. So I have to change them to y-intercept so I can find the slope. I'm going to work out A right here. Okay? I've got 3x minus 5y equals 25. I need to get y by itself. I'm going to subtract 3x because it's positive. Negative 5y gives me negative 3x plus 25. I can't combine those. They're not like terms. Now you divide everything by negative 5 to get y by itself. And that gives me y equals positive 3/5 x minus 5. Okay, so there's one option. Let's see what B is. I've got 7y minus 3x equals 14. Y by itself, so I'm going to add 3x. 7y equals 3x plus 14. I don't combine them because they're not like terms. Divide by 7. That gives me y equals 3/7 x plus 2. So now when I'm looking for my slopes, I'm looking at this number and this number. 3/5 or 3/7. Which one's greater than 1/2? Well, if you don't know, you can always use your calculator. So if you take 3 divided by 5, you get 0.6. And if you take 3 divided by 7, you get 0.428. Which one of those is bigger than 1/2? This one. So that means my answer is A. Alright, for 39 it says Larry started riding his bike at a rapid pace. He got tired and stopped to rest. When he started again, he was going at a slower rate. Which graph best shows Larry's trip? So, alright. Slower rate, he stopped for a while, and he started at a rapid pace. So when he starts, it needs to be speed. Okay? When he stops, his distance should stay the same. Okay? When he stops, the amount of distance he covered is nothing, so it stays the same. This one's out because does he ever stop? No. Now the other 3 pictures all have him stopping. The other thing that we need to notice is that this represents total distance. Okay? So if I'm riding my bike, the more time I pass, what's going to keep happening to my distance? Increasing. Okay? Total distance. I would have to somehow go back in time for my distance to go back. Okay? So for me to start going down, my distance to be going down, I'd have to go back in time and stop riding my bike. That's impossible. Okay? At least at this point. So, my correct answer is A. This is him going fast. He stops. He keeps going, but he's going what? Slower. And I know because this is less steep than the fast part. Okay. For question 40, it says, Alice compared the graph of 2 functions. The first function was y equals 3x plus 4. The second function fits the values in the table below. What is the distance between the y-intercept? Okay, so they want me to find the distance between y-intercepts. So I got to find the y-intercept of each function. Well, luckily, for this one, it's always y equals mx plus b. This is my y-intercept. Now I need to find the y-intercept for the other one. Well, they gave me a table, so I'm going to start by finding the difference. This is plus 3 plus 3. This side is plus 15 plus 15. Well, I know that my slope is changing y over changing x. That's 15 over 3, which is 5. So I know that this is my m, or my slope. Okay, I'm going to work this out for my Algebra 1 kids or Math 1 kids over here. If you want to use this method for Math 8, that's also fine. For my Math 1 kids, you should be saying y equals mx plus b, y equals 5x plus b, and then I'm plugging in 2 points from the tree. It doesn't from the table. It doesn't matter which ones you plug in. 2 is going to go in for x, so 5 times 2, and 17 is going to go in for y. What's 5 times 2? 10. What plus 10 gives you 17? B equals 7. Now I know that the equation for the second one is y equals 5x plus 7. Okay, so that is the Math 1 way that you would have found the x. If you are having trouble using that method for Math 8, we can just continue our table. And I'm going to do it down here so I have more space. Okay? I'm just going to start from here. I want to know if this is 5 and this is 2. I know that my slope is 5 over 1. Okay? So every time I go back 1 on my y's, I need to go back 5 on my x's. Okay? So what number when you add 5 gives you 17? 12. I need to do it again. What number when I add 5 gives me 12? 7. So if you're using the table method to find the y-intercept, that is your y-intercept. Okay, it says the distance between. So I have 7, take away the other y-intercept, which is 4, which is 3. You had to find the distance between them. And that is the last problem for this video.